Good evening. The former Chief Operating Officer of the SABC, Hlaudi Motsoeneng, has told the Zondo Commission that he interfered with news coverage decisions because it was his job to do so. He's denied lying about his matric qualifications before he was appointed to the position. Motsoeneng's also confirmed that he had a relationship with the Gupta family. Motsoeneng took to the stand today after the inquiry heard evidence of wrongdoing against him, including that he banned images of violent protests. Manqoba Mchunu is our reporter back in the Zondo Commission today. Manqoba, good evening to you. Thanks once again for your time. This issue around Hlaudi Motsoeneng's matric, why is it so important?
Well, of course, it's important, Stephen, because it was such a high executive position that he occupied. I mean, he was able to sit in the board because he was the COO of a company, and that's usually a position that would require some sort of, qualification to it. But of course, we do know from the testimony that, in his appointment, all the qualifications were waived off, apparently at the request of the previous board chairperson, Ben Ngubane. Of course, he denied that. But, it's critical for such a position like that to have somebody who's qualified. But shockingly, we had Hlaudi Motsoeneng, who didn't even have a matric at the time. And of course, he says that, he believes he was the right man for the job. He says that he had all the expertise and the experience of the job, having gone to the ranks within the SABC. But, his views on education were, something that left many questions. Let's take a listen to what he had to say about education and how he views it and his experience and what qualified him for the job.
I can tell you, in the SABC, no one was better than me, even if they advertise it. And Chairperson, we should also look at the caliber of management and the board that the SABC is appointing. We must look at that, because that is where the problem is, Chairperson. Chairperson, hi. Those who are saying I'm not educated, I train doctors at the SABC. I train lawyers. When they join SABC, what do you know? It's fury. Because that is what our education system is.
Then there's the fact that the job that he received, the Chief Operating Officer job, and of course he was acting for a very long time, it wasn't actually properly advertised. Well, how did he get it then?
Well, of course, he says that, he was recommended by the board. He says that his appointment came from the board. He says that when he was acting COO, he had actually complained as to why he was acting for such a long time. He wanted to know what's going to happen to him. He wanted to know where is he going. And he was really, wanting to know what's going to happen with his future. So he says he inquired to the board, and he says to his surprise that in the board, it was the board that ultimately appointed him to this position of being COO. But he saw nothing wrong, of course, with the fact that it was not advertised, because he believes that he was the right man for the job. In fact, in his words, he say they had caught a fish that they wanted, and he says that he was headhunted for this position.
Okay, so he was the fish they wanted.
He says he was the fish that they wanted, indeed.
Okay, his relationship with the Gupta family, conversations around curry and travelling today. How did he describe his relationship with the Guptas?
Of course, there was a bit of a light note there because we saw some laughter there at the State Commission. Of course, when he described his relationship with the Guptas, he didn't deny the fact that he had met the Guptas on several occasions. And of course, you recall the evidence of the former CEO, Manqoba, saying that it was Hlaudi Motsoeneng who actually introduced her to the Gupta family when she took over the post as CEO. So he says, of course, there was nothing wrong with that. In fact, he was just trying to comply with the memorandum of understanding between them and the Guptas. And he says, of course, he has been to the Gupta compound on several occasions and has even eaten curry on many occasions. Let's take a listen, Stephen.
When you talk about Guptas these days, people, they don't want to hear anything. They run away. They want to go under the tables. I don't know what is the problem. But the reality is, we have met the Guptas. We have engaged them, Chairperson. And I want to allude to this, Chairperson, because...
And you ate the curry.
I enjoy Chairperson curry. Yes. And I want to allude to this, Chairperson. You are dealing with state capture, Chairperson. In my view, now was capturing private sector.
Let's repeat that.
Oh, Chairperson, sorry.
Just repeat that sentence.
Sometimes you want to speak your own language. No. I'm saying, Chairperson, now I was trying to capture private sector.
So he was saying that he wanted to capture the Guptas.
In fact, yes. He says that he wanted to capture the Gupta family themselves because he says they had a lot of resources and so they're already working with the Guptas, so why not capture the Guptas themselves?
Manqoba, thanks very much indeed. Our reporter there in the Zondo Commission, Manqoba Mchunu. It's a piece all standing by for you.